Yo guys, we are back with the second game of today. This time it's going to be Magpie against Kolemoen, and let's get right to it. So first off, we got Magpie. Magpie is bringing Line Pockets, Overwhelming Hunger, Tactical Decision, and Inspired Seal. And let's try to take a look at some of these lists. So first of all, then Magpie is opting to go for Line Pockets over Pirate's Cove, which has been the more popular Syndicate deck. That being said, Line Pocket has been performing really well in qualifiers and general in tournaments so far. So it's not that big of a surprise he decides to go for this deck. The way I see it, there are no big tech cards in this list, like it's pretty standard. And he just says, you know what, Line Pocket is a super strong deck, I'll just play it. So not much of a surprise there. Then we got the next deck, Overwhelming Hunger. And this time it's not some cute Overwhelming Hunger deck with a bunch of weird cards. This time it's actually a Vi deck. And this is a big decision to bring this for a tournament, I would say. Because, well, it is Vi, and it's a deck that is potentially very strong, but potentially also very targetable. Magpie seems to have made the read that, you know what, no one is going to target Troll. So we will see if that will be successful or not, because this Vi deck will be great if the opponent does not have Troll punishes in the deck. And he kind of seems to like this sort of like general idea that he wants to go Troll, which is why he's also playing Tactical Decision with Colgrim. And this is a big surprise, I would say, probably more than Vi, because like we have all seen Vi. Like Vi is like a very popular deck right now in ladder as well, but Colgrim, at least like this version of Colgrim, is not seeing any play. With Portal, Renew, Kingslayer for the another Colgrim potentially, or another defender, like it's very all in on the Colgrim strategy. And you can potentially even replay the Colgrim as well, which is also very powerful. So it's a deck that kind of just say, you know what, I'll just throw it all in on the Colgrim, go super greedy, slime my Portal, slime my leader round one, just take the round, clock the opponent as much as possible, and then I will go play my Colgrim and it will go through and I will win the game. Then last we got Inspired Seal, and this one is a little bit different to me. It doesn't quite work that well into the overall strategy, I think, because it's this deck is just going wide. So like you have this deck that plays a bunch of commandos, you replay them with Pavetta, then you draw them basically. It's by no means a bad deck. I think a lot of participants have identified that commandos is pretty decent, and having the draw is quite strong. Like you'd also say this is kind of targeting a deck like Aegis a little bit maybe. Like seeing that you have the draw here for Overwhelming Hunger, you have double Fogtail, Tactical Decision. You can potentially just clock them so much with the drones that they won't ever draw a good card again. And I mean, Line Pockets is just very strong, although probably not a particularly good deck for the target against AQ, but still just a very strong deck. But yeah, so this is basically Magpie's idea, trying to go for some greedy decks because you don't think they will get punished. So let's see if he's right about that. So next up we got Kolemoen, and I was a part of Kolemoen's prep team, and Cole's general idea was that he wanted to bring 4 decks that weren't easily targetable. He didn't want to lose this tournament because the opponent just, brought a bunch of decks that were good against one of his decks. So he went for Cove, which is just, the strongest deck right now, overall speaking, and no one has really successfully targeted it. So that seems like a pretty safe bet. Then he went for Reckless Flurry with Vesemir. This was a deck that I was playing. I was playing a variation of this with different leader and stuff in the beginning of the season, and we kind of found during the prep that this deck actually does fairly okay into like a great variety of matchups. It might not have that many like amazing matchups, but it's just very solid. Then we have Nature's Gift, which is just another very solid point spam deck. Not that easy to target, got good point spam, but also doesn't really have much removal or troll punish, anything like that. And then finally we got Uprising with kind of the mid-range version, so to say, with like just an Say. So like no Erden, no Geralt, nothing like that. It's just like a pretty nice point spammy deck with a few good control options in the Oil, Margarita, and Prince. So how is this matchup going to play out? Well, I mean, if you take a look at the greedy decks that Magpie is bringing, then Cole will probably struggle quite a lot against that. Like, if you take Vi and go up against Pirate's Cove, well, you have no troll punish other than poison. You don't even have morels. If you go up against Reckless Flurry, then you have your Axie, but that's it. You also have your unit, but he can potentially just consume his Vi's all the time, so that won't do anything. You got Gift with no troll punish whatsoever, and you got Uprising with no troll punish whatsoever. So Vi is definitely going to be very strong into Cold lineup. Then there is Colgrim, which is probably, I don't think it's quite as strong as Vi, and I think some of these decks, they thin rather well, so even though they might not have that much troll punish for Colgrim, then their value in the thin might just be enough to actually make it an okay matchup. Like Witcher thin well, Reckless Flurry thin kind of okay, Gift thins a few cards, and Cove also thins a few cards. So that might be a little bit better, but still no troll punish. Could potentially be pretty scary. So I think it's going to be a pretty fair matchup. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a clear winner beforehand. I think both players have their chances here. If you just go back to Magpie's lineup for a second, then I mean, it might come down to something like the Inspired Seal deck, the Colgrim deck. Like, how will these perform? Like, quite likely. I mean, the thing is for Cole that he might actually be forced to ban his Vi overline pockets. Like, usually you just want to ban Syndicate if you can. But when the opponent brings such a greedy deck as Vi, it might just force ban if you have not targeted it. So I would give Magpie a slight edge here, but I don't think it's over for Cole at all. Like, I definitely think he has a decent chance, but definitely going to be a very, very exciting one to watch. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We will be back before the next matchup starts. See ya.